Been a long ass trip. Actually, a hell of a lot shorter than I thought it would be, but we're here. Hello. Oh no, my recording's been blocked. Anyway, I did some tests yesterday just to make sure that the fucking ability to just set the system clock still took care of all the table missions, and it does, so nice. I also did all the Dragon Age Keep stuff. Dual wielding rogue, because I have one door I need to open. I can't open otherwise. Yes. Change that. Let's get to it. Complexion. It's not really important. Ugh.
I just hope I can help.
Everything you've heard? Completely true.
Two voices, wonderful. And here's... Elf and John, I'm scar and tattoo. Wink. There's really no choice but to have a tattoo. I guess not. Hmm. Wait, no. Mahanon. Whatever.
Tell me why we shouldn't kill you now. The Conclave is destroyed. Everyone who attended is dead. Except for you.
What do you mean everyone's dead?
Explain this.
I can't.
What do you mean you can't?
I don't know what that is, or how it got there.
You're lying!
We need him, Cassandra.
I can't believe it. All those people... dead?
Do you remember what happened? How this began?
I remember running. Things were chasing me, and then... a woman.
A woman?
She reached out to me. But then...
Go to the Ford Camp, Liliana. I will take him to the rift.
What did happen?
It will be easier to show you. Call it the Breach. It's a massive rift into the world of demons that grows larger with each passing hour. It's not the only such rift, just the largest. All were caused by the explosion at the Conclave.
An explosion can do that?
This one did. Unless we act, The breach may grow until it swallows the world. Each time the breach expands, your mark spreads, and it is killing you. It may be the key to stopping this, but there isn't much time.
You say it may be the key. To doing what?
Closing the breach. Whether that's possible is something we shall discover shortly. It is our only chance, however. And yours.
You still think I did this? To myself?
Not intentionally. Something clearly went wrong.
And if I'm not responsible?
Someone is, and you are our only suspect. You wish to prove your innocence? This is the only way.
I understand.
Then...
I'll do what I can, whatever it takes.
They have decided your guilt. They need it. The people of Haven mourn our most holy, divine Justinia, head of the Chantry. The Conclave was hers. It was a chance for peace between mages and Templars. She brought their leaders together. Now they are dead. We lash out like the sky, but we must think beyond ourselves, as she did. Until the breach is sealed. There will be a trial. I can promise no more. Come. It is not far.
Where are you taking me?
Your mark must be tested on something smaller than the breach.
All men of the work.
Open the gate. We are heading into the valley.
Bring harm without provocation to the least of his children. Are hated and accursed by the Maker.
Very nice.
The pulses are coming faster now. The larger the breach grows, the more rifts appear, the more demons we face.
How did I survive the blast?
They said you stepped out of a rift, then fell unconscious. They say a woman was in the rift behind you. No one knows who she was. Everything farther in the valley. Stay behind me!
It's over.
Drop your weapon. Now!
All right. Have it your way.
Wait. I cannot protect you. And I cannot expect you to be defenseless. I should remember you agreed to come willingly. Take these potions. Maker knows what we will face.
Where are all your soldiers?
At the forward camp or fighting. We are on our own for now.
Yeah. Do. Ugh. Okie doke. Option. Options. Gameplay. Normal. Friendly fire off. Yeah, I remember what trials do. Really can't. Light helmet. Wonder if there's a... I doubt it. Vibrations off. Good. Non-subtitles. We've done that earlier. Bloody thing up there, isn't it? Will totally be denied.
There! Watch out! If we flank them, we may gain the advantage.
feng shui. Anything on the bridge now? Just have falling down, I get moving distance. So much better.
They're falling from the breach!
And to come all the way up there. Anything else? Down here anywhere? I drove it in these goddamn streams. Just around pinging everywhere.
We're getting close to the rift. You can hear the fighting.
Who's fighting?
You'll see soon. We must help them.
Quickly! Before more come through! What did you do?
I did nothing. The credit is yours.
You mean this?
Whatever magic opened the breach in the sky also placed that mark upon your hand. I theorized the mark might be able to close the rifts that have opened in the breach's wake. And it seems I was correct.
Meaning it could also close the breach itself.
Possibly. It seems you hold the key to our salvation.
Good to know. Here I thought we'd be ass-deep in demons forever. Varric Tethras, rogue, storyteller, and occasionally unwelcome tag-along.
Are you with the Chantry, or...?
Was that a serious question?
Technically, I'm a prisoner, just like you.
I brought you here to tell your story to the Divine. Clearly, that is no longer necessary.
Yet, here I am. Lucky for you, considering current events.
That's a nice crossbow you have there.
Isn't she? Bianca and I have been through a lot together.
You named your crossbow Bianca?
Of course. And she'll be great company in the valley.
Absolutely not. Your help is appreciated, Varric, but...
Have you been in the valley lately, Seeker? Your soldiers aren't in control anymore. You need me.
Ugh.
My name is Solus, if there are to be introductions. I am pleased to see you still live.
He means I kept that mark from killing you while you slept.
You seem to know a great deal about it all.
Solus is an apostate, well-versed in such matters.
Technically, all mages are now apostates, Cassandra. My travels have allowed me to learn much of the Fade, far beyond the experience of any circle mage. I came to offer whatever help I can give with the breach. If it is not closed, we are all doomed regardless of origin.
If I can close the breach, I will.
Cassandra, you should know, the magic involved here is unlike any I've seen. Your prisoner is no mage. Indeed, I find it difficult to imagine any mage having such power.
Understood. We must get to the forward camp quickly.
Well... Bianca's excited.
This way, down the bank. The road ahead is blocked.
We must move quickly.
Move quickly, but I have things to loot.
Demons ahead. Glad you brought me now, Seeker?
Blah blah, tentacle man. Saw that interruption coming a mile away. What's further up? Oh, it actually is. And this is why this is going to take so long, because I'm going to start everywhere. Hey, what I do? Map. How's I do have a map?
So, are you innocent?
I don't remember what happened.
That'll get you every time. Should have spun a story.
That's what you would have done.
It's more believable and less prone to result in premature execution.
Fruit. I'm gonna have so much fucking fruit. That's crap I'm picking up.
You are Dalish, but clearly away from the rest of your clan. Did they send you here?
What do you know of the Dalish?
I have wandered many roads in my time, and crossed paths with your people on more than one occasion.
What do you mean by crossed paths?
I mean that I offer to share knowledge, only to be attacked for no greater reason than their superstition.
Can't you elves just play nice for once?
Hold on. We haven't much further.
Weird.
I hope Liliana made it through all this.
She's resourceful, Singer.
We will see for ourselves at the forward camp. We're almost there.
Anything hiding up here? Unlikely, but I wouldn't put it past you.
Another rift!
We must seal it! Quickly!
They keep coming! Help us!
Hurry! Use the mark!
Level up. Good. All these passives, blah 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 blah.
Rift is gone. Open the gate.
Right away, Lady Cassandra.
We are clear for the moment. Well done.
Whatever that thing on your hand is, it's useful.
You, Cassandra? Ah, here they come.
You made it. Chancellor Roderick, this is...
I know who he is. As Grand Chancellor of the Chantry, I hereby order you to take this criminal to Val Royeaux to face execution.
Order me? You are a glorified clerk. A bureaucrat.
And you are a thug, but a thug who supposedly serves the Chantry.
We serve the most holy, Chancellor. As you well know.
Justinia is dead! We must elect a replacement and obey her orders on the matter.
Isn't closing the breach the more pressing issue?
You brought this on us in the first place! Call a retreat, Seeker. Our position here is hopeless.
We can stop this before it's too late.
How? You won't survive long enough to reach the temple, even with all your soldiers.
We must get to the temple. It's the quickest route.
But not the safest. Our forces can charge as a distraction while we go through the mountains.
We lost contact with an entire squad on that path. It's too risky.
Listen to me. Abandon this now, before more lives are lost.
How do you think we should proceed?
Now you're asking me what I think.
You have the mark.
And you are the one we must keep alive. Since we cannot agree on our own...
Use the mountain path. Work together. You all know what's at stake.
Liliana, bring everyone left in the valley. Everyone.
On your head be the consequences, Seeker.
The tunnel should be just ahead. The path to the temple lies just beyond it.
What manner of tunnel is this? A mine?
Part of an old mining complex. These mountains are full of such paths.
And your missing soldiers are in there somewhere?
Along with whatever has detained them.
We shall see soon enough.
Oof, getting freaking dark, isn't it?
Guess we found the soldiers.
That cannot be all of them.
So the others could be holed up ahead.
Our priority must be the breach. Unless we seal it soon, no one is safe.
I'm leaving that to our elven friend here.
Lady Cassandra!
Lieutenant, you're alive.
Just barely.
Sealed, as before. You are becoming quite proficient at this.
Let's hope it works on the big one.
Thank the Maker you finally arrived, Lady Cassandra. I don't think we could have held out much longer.
Thank our prisoner, Lieutenant. He insisted we come this way.
The prisoner? Then you...
It was worth saving you, if we could.
Then you have my sincere gratitude.
The way into the valley behind us is clear for the moment. Go, while you still can.
At once. Quickly, let's move!
The path ahead appears to be clear of demons as well.
Let's hurry before that changes. Down the ladder. That's the way to the temple.
Hang on the ladder. Okay. Do. Give me the other freaking stiletto as well, shall we? Any better than the Highlander? Okay, level restrictions. That's a thing, isn't it?
So, holes in the Fade don't just accidentally happen, right?
If enough magic is brought to bear, it is possible.
But there are easier ways to make things explode.
That is true.
We will consider how this happened once the immediate danger is past.
The Temple of Sacred Ashes.
What's left of it?
That is where you walked out of the Fade, and our soldiers found you. They say a woman was in the rift behind you. No one knows who she was.
Is a long way up.
You're here. Thank the Maker.
Liliana, have your men take up positions around the temple. This is your chance to end this. Are you ready?
I'll try, but I don't know if I can reach that, much less close it.
No. This rift was the first, and it is the key. Seal it, and perhaps we seal the breach.
Then let's find a way down. And be careful.
Now is the hour of our victory. Bring forth the sacrifice.
What are we hearing?
At a guess, the person who created the breach.
You know this stuff is red lyrium, Seeker.
I see it, Varric.
But what's it doing here?
Magic could have drawn on lyrium beneath the temple, corrupted it.
It's evil. Whatever you do, don't touch it.
Keep the sacrifice still.
Someone help me! divine Justinia's voice.
What's going on here?
That was your voice. Most Holy called out to you, but...
What's going on here?
Run while you can! Warn them!
We have an intruder. Slay the elf.
You were there! Who attacked? And the Divine, is she... Was this vision true? What are we seeing?
I don't remember.
Echoes of what happened here. The Fade bleeds into this place. This rift is not sealed, but it is closed, albeit temporarily. I believe that with the mark, the rift can be opened, and then sealed properly and safely. However, opening the rift will likely attract attention from the other side.
That means demons! Stand ready! We must strip its defenses, wear it down. Quickly, disrupt the rift.
I didn't know you were awake. I swear.
Don't worry about it, I
beg your forgiveness and your blessing. I am but a humble servant. You're back in Haven, my lord. They say you saved us. The breach stopped growing, just like the mark on your hand. It's all anyone has talked about for the last 3 days.
Then the danger is over.
The breach is still in the sky, but that's what they say. I'm certain Lady Cassandra would want to know you've wakened. She said, at once.
And where is she?
In the Chantry, with the Lord Chancellor. At once, she said.
Patient observations. Vain hope. Someone better at this than me takes over before the survivor expires. Noting case. Day 1. Clammy, shadow breathing, pulse over fast, not responsive, pupils dilated. Mage says his scarring mark is thrumming with unknown magic. We could station a Templar in here just in case. Dagger of the Dragon. Oh my god, I can.
That's him. That's the Herald of Andraste.
That's him. He stopped the breach from getting any bigger.
Chancellor Roderick says that their Chantry wants nothing to do with us.
That isn't Chancellor Roderick's decision, sister.
Chant for the departed. The light shall lead her safely through the paths of this world and into the next. For she who trusts in the Maker, fire is her water. As the moth seeks light and goes towards the flame, he should see fire and go towards light. The veil holds no uncertainty for her, and she will know no fear of death. For the Maker, he shall be her beacon and her shield, her foundation and her sword.
Mad. He should be taken to Val Royo immediately, to be tried by whomever becomes divine.
I do not believe he is guilty.
The elf failed, Seeker. The breach is still in the sky. For all you know, he intended it this way.
I do not believe that.
That is not for you to decide. Your duty is to serve the Chantry.
My duty is to serve the principles on which the Chantry was founded, Chancellor, as is yours.
Chain him! I want him prepared for travel to the capital for trial.
Disregard that, and leave us.
You walk a dangerous line, Seeker.
The breach is stable, but it is still a threat. I will not ignore it.
I did everything I could to close the breach. It almost killed me.
Yet you live. A convenient result insofar as you're concerned.
Have a care, Chancellor. The breach is not the only threat we face.
Someone was behind the explosion at the Conclave. Someone most holy did not expect. Perhaps they died with the others, or have allies who yet live.
I am a suspect?
You, and many others.
But not the prisoner.
I heard the voices in the temple. The Divine called to him for help.
So his survival, that thing on his hand, all a coincidence.
Providence. The Maker sent him to us in our darkest hour.
You really think your Maker would send someone like me?
The Maker does as he wills. It is not for me to say.
Even if that means a Dalish elf is his chosen?
Humans are not the only people with an interest in the fate of the world.
The breach remains, and your mark is still our only hope of closing it.
This is not for you to decide.
You know what this is, Chancellor. A writ from the Divine, granting us the authority to act. As of this moment, I declare the Inquisition reborn. We will close the breach, we will find those responsible, and we will restore order with or without your approval.
This is the Divine's directive. Rebuild the Inquisition of old. Find those who will stand against the chaos. We aren't ready. We have no leader, no numbers. And now, no Chantry support.
But we have no choice. We must act now, with you at our side.
What is the Inquisition of old, exactly?
It preceded the Chantry. People who banded together to restore order in a world gone mad.
After, they laid down their banner and formed the Templar Order, but the Templars have lost their way. We need those who can do what must be done, united under a single banner once more.
But aren't you still part of the Chantry?
Is that what you see?
The Chantry will take time to find a new Divine. And then it will wait for her direction.
But we cannot wait. So many Grand Clerics died at the Conclave. No, we are on our own. Perhaps forever.
You're trying to start a holy war.
We are already at war. You are already involved. Its mark is upon you. As to whether the war is holy, that depends on what we discover.
What if I refuse?
You can go if you wish.
You should know that while some believe you chosen, many still think you guilty. The Inquisition can only protect you if you are with us.
We can also help you.
It will not be easy if you stay. But you cannot pretend this has not changed you.
If you're truly trying to restore order...
That is the plan.
Help us fix this before it's too late.
Have the load times still suck. Oh, and it took us over an hour to get to the title. It's time to get to looting, 'cause that's just what I do. Give me half a chance and I'll even go loot you. Brandy Dowager Quarterly. The Randy Dowager welcomes the cool of autumn with the fall of another. The collected dreams of desire, bring the confessions of an apprentice in training, more furrowing than harrowing. Forbidden dalliances at their most spirited. Randy Dowager exhibitions for the noble of thought, but spry of step, the lady herself says, enchanting. One supports the circles, if only because closed doors offered their imagination more. 3 scars fluttered in shock out of 5. Bloody. Apothecary.
Secret Ask told me that he can't let
Patient
herbs go
observations day
into
2.
US
Pulse
aid.
normal, breathing normal, still unresponsive, careful, drop feed of rep. Help fruit extract aids in his recovery. A lot of thrashing, mutters about too many eyes, something about the grey. Encouraging?
Fine. We'll gather our own. Tell Segrid he better hope he doesn't need a salve anytime soon. Look who's back from the dead. Again.
I don't recall meeting you before.
I'd be surprised if you did. You weren't particularly coherent. Someone had to patch you up after you staggered out of making those wear, though. So, you're welcome.
I didn't realize. Thank you.
Yeah, well, you can pay me back by fixing the world. Name's Adan. I'm in charge of keeping our little band here stocked with potions and elixirs. Not that Seeker Pentagast seems to care whether we've got the supplies to actually do that.
For a healer, you don't seem particularly nurturing.
I'm not a healer. I'm an alchemist who's forced to play Mother Hen. You want something to burst into flame on contact with the air? Done. Gladly. Patching up wounded soldiers is a waste of my time and talents. But there are a few around who can help.
How are your people holding up?
There's no shortage of work. That's for damn sure.
Is there anything I can do to help out?
We're fine as far as raw labor goes. You've more important things to do than tend to me. I only wish I'd been able to find Master Tajin's notes. Old bastard was working on something special. He died at the Conclave, and his notes weren't here. Been too busy dealing with the wounded to look for them.
How do I go about having potions made?
Just take a look there and tell me what you'd like. Find a recipe for something better, I can make that too.
Upgrade potions. Right. Right, that's why I need goddamn things. Yep, it's pinging. Same, yeah, it's just the table. Okay. Do-do-do-do.
the chosen of Andraste, a blessed hero sent to save us all.
I've no interest in being a hero. All I want is to find a way to seal this breach.
Pragmatic, but ultimately irrelevant. I've journeyed deep into the Fade in ancient ruins and battlefields to see the dreams of lost civilizations. I've watched as hosts of spirits clash to reenact the bloody past in ancient wars both famous and forgotten. Every great war has its heroes. I'm just curious what kind you'll be.
What do you mean, ruins and battlefields?
Any building strong enough to withstand the rigors of time has a history. Every battlefield is steeped in death. Both attract spirits. They press against the veil, weakening the barrier between our worlds. When I dream in such places, I go deep into the Fade. I can find memories no other living being has ever seen.
You fall asleep in the middle of ancient ruins. Isn't that dangerous?
I do set wards. And if you leave food out for the giant spiders, they are usually content to live and let live.
I've never heard of anyone going so far into the Fade. That's extraordinary.
Thank you. It's not a common field of study for obvious reasons. Not so flashy as throwing fire or lightning. The thrill of finding remnants of a 1,000-year-old dream? I would not trade it for anything. I will stay there. At least until the breach has been closed.
Was that in doubt?
I am an apostate surrounded by Chantry forces in the middle of a mage rebellion. Cassandra has been accommodating, but you understand my caution.
The giant hole in the sky trumps any other concerns. We can worry about the rest later.
Yes. Who can say what this world will look like when we are done fighting for it? But now let us hope either the mages or the Templars have the power to seal the breach.
One annoyance. Drift of them. One line of sight. Looking for. Okay, it's fine. Mildly annoying, but fine. Loot.
How do you think they'll close that huge hole in the sky?
Ally with the Templars, I'd imagine. I've seen them weaken magic.
What about the rebel mages?
Mages probably made that thing.
Be thankful that there's no limit to what I can grab. Time around. Limitless inventory for the win.
Cedric said the blankets weren't worth selling. He's giving them to the Inquisition for free.
How kind of him.
That, and he said people who freeze to death don't spend much coin.
Well, he's not wrong.
If you're here to clean, Hess can get you a bucket and a broom. Anyone calls you knife here, come to me. Oh, you're him. Thren. Inquisition Quartermaster. I'm doing what I can to supply this mess. If you find what I need to fill one of my requisitions, I'd appreciate you bringing it in.
How does someone end up as quartermaster for the Inquisition?
I served for Eldon under 10 Loghain MacTier. Best commanding officer this world has ever seen. After they all turned on him at Denerim, though, there wasn't much use for people who held that opinion. Queen Honora offered my services to the Inquisition. It was a kindness. She knew I supported her father and got me away from the political garbage.
I understand Loghain joined the Grey Wardens after the Blight ended.
Yes. A mercy, people called it. Serving the Order, they say he betrayed. He could have led Ferelden to greatness. Instead, he lives in exile, fighting Darkspawn until the day he dies. Can I help you with something?
What do you do here?
I make sure the Inquisition troops have food in their bellies and iron in their hands. Both are important. Lots of people expecting us to be heroes, marching all day to fight the demons. Turns out heroes need to dig latrines just like everyone else.
What did you mean when you mentioned requisitions?
I'm making this Inquisition run with what we have, but we're not a real army. We're stretched thin on materials, so I've put up a requisition list for anything that could help our people. Here, take a look. You find some iron and a good logging site, maybe Harriet can get our troops better weapons.
If I have material for a special order, do I bring it to you?
Just take it over there. One of my boys will take the materials or jot down what you found.
Farewell.
Make her go with you.
One logging stand.
Thanks for checking anyway.
Should actually be able to find that around here somewhere. Well, stay around here. Like the main gate. Did I? Patient observation, day 3. Less thrashing, some response to stimulus. Vitals seem solid. 2 attempts so far by locals to break into the chantry to kill my patient. All this work to save his life, and will I just execute him? I'll inform Lady Cassandra I expect him to wake before the morn. Andraste's Minbari. You know Andraste's old Minbari, he didn't show up in the chant. And if you ask those holy sisters, well, they'll say Andraste can't. I've had some big old smelly war dog, but all Ferelden knows it's right. Our sweet lady needed someone who would warm her feet at night. And there's Andraste's Minbari, by the holy prophet's side. In the fight against Tevinter, that dog would never hide. They say the Maker sent him special, always loyal without pride, so he could be the sworn champion of the Maker's holy bride. All that dog he guards Andraste with arrogance or fear, only asking of his mistress just to scratch behind the ears. But then old Mathrat gets to plotting, tries to lure that dog away, but even as they trap the prophet, Minbari never strays. And there's Andraste's Minbari by the holy prophet's side. In the fight against Tevinter, that dog would never hide. They say the Maker sent him special, always loyal without pride, so he could be the sworn champion of the Maker's holy bride. Oh, they thought the wounds had killed him, but then he limped out toward the fire, and Harrison he shed a tear as that dog lay on the pyre. And there's Andraste's Minbari, by the holy prophet's side. In the fight against Tevinter, that dog never hide. That dog would never hide. They say the Maker sent him special, always loyal without pride, so he could be the sworn champion of the Maker's holy bride. Yes, that member is the companion of the Maker's holy bride. Popular, if historically unlikely for Elden Tavern song.
Are we going to have new verses in the Chant of Light now for the Herald of Andraste? Telling what he did.
Singing Maiden. Have you ever heard the story of King Bedwyr? Bedwyr, like most kings, was a man of great pride who expected nothing but complete loyalty from his subjects. He believed the best way to achieve this was through fear. After all, those who feared him would never cross him or question his rule. Most importantly, those who feared him would always seek to please him. Bedwyr cultivated terror in his subordinates through his gleeful and unrestrained use of a contraption referred to as the Maiden. The Maiden was a hinged iron casket, as high and wide and deep as a man with vicious spikes within, meant to pierce through the poor soul locked into it. Bedwyr's Maiden was a prized possession, and stood in a place of honour in his throne room, often with a screaming victim inside it. Political rivals, suspected assassins, treasonous ministers, the Maiden consumed them all, and as time passed, more people were given to the Maiden for increasingly trivial offences. The cook for assaulting the king's food, the page boy for dropping his sword. The Maiden cast a pall over the kingdom, and its people prayed for deliverance from their cruel king. Then, one day, a strange woman rode into the city. She called herself Ember, and was an emissary from a far-off land. Her leaders had heard, she said, of Bedwyr's wisdom and authority, and she sought the king's counsel. The thought that he had earned the adoration of brother kings across the sea made Bedwyr swell with pride, and he granted Ember an audience. They dined and danced, and through it all Ember flattered and fawned on the king. At the end of the night, Ember asked to see the Maiden, the infamous device that had given Bedwyr all its power. The king, giddy with praise, proudly presented Ember with the empty contraption. Ember looked at the Maiden, sighed with a disappointment, and said, "That does not look terrifying at all. I should have imagined the spikes to be much sharper." Bedwyr grew red at her contempt, and replied, "The spikes are sharp enough. Look at the blood that still clings to them." "It is so small," said Ember. "Are only children and women its victims?" Bedwyr grew redder still, and replied, "Of course not. The Maiden has devoured many men." Ember shook her head and said to the king, "I do not believe it. Surely no warrior could fear this thing. A man like yourself, tall and muscled, would not fit within." The king laughed and saw a way to prove the merit of the Maiden to Ember. "I will show you how easily a man like myself could fit," he said, and with that he stepped into the device. But Ember was waiting, and no sooner had Bedwyr squeezed himself into the iron casket than Ember slammed it shut on him. Ember took the Maiden with the screaming Bedwyr inside, through the castle and down into the city, and the people, finally free from the king's tyranny, cheer and dance to the singing that echoed through the streets until Bedwyr was dead and it finally stopped.
It's far too soon to consider anything like that.
Moral of the story, don't be a dick.
No, that's not true.
You're freaking idea. No.
Right now, we just need to be careful not to do anything rash.
Tale of the Frostbacks. Even mountains had a heart once. When the world was young, Korth, the Mountain Father, kept his throne at the peaks of the Belinus, a mountain at the centre of the world, from which he could see all the corners of earth and sky. And he saw strong men become weak, brave men grew cowardly, and wise men turned foolish for love. Korth devised a plan that he might never be betrayed by his own heart. By taking it out and hiding it where no soul would ever dare search for it, he sealed it inside a golden cask, buried it in the earth, and raised around it the fiercest mountains the world had ever seen, the Frostbacks, to guard it. But without his heart, the Mountain Father grew cruel. His chest was filled with bitter mountain winds that shrieked and howled like lost souls. Food lost its flavour, The music had no sweetness, and he lost all joy in deeds of valor. He sent avalanches and earthquakes to torment the tribes of men. Gods and men rose against him, calling him a tyrant, but with no heart, Korth could not be slain. Soon there were no heroes left, even among men or gods, who would dare challenge Korth. Blech. The Lady of the Skies sent her... Blech. The Lady of the Skies sent the best of her children, the swiftest, the cleverest, and strongest flyers, to scour the mountains for the missing heart, and for a year and a day they searched. But Sparrow and Raven, Vulture and Eagle, Swift and Albatross returned to her with nothing. Then the Pachymeragrain spoke up and offered to find the God Chief's heart. The other birds laughed, but the Pachymeragrain is a tiny bird, too humble to soar, which spends half its time hopping along the ground. The lady would not give the little creature her blessing, for the mountains were too fierce even for eagles. But the Pachymeragrain set out anyway. The little bird travelled deep into the frostbacks. When she could not fly, she crawled. He hugged the ground and weathered the worst mountain winds, and so made her lonely way to the valley where the heart beat. With all the gods' terrible deeds, the heart was far too heavy for the tiny bird to carry. So she rolled it, little by little, out of the valley and down a cliff. And when the golden car struck the earth, it shattered. The heart was full almost to bursting, and the pain of it roused the mountain god to come see what had happened. When Korth neared his heart, it leapt back into his chest, and he was whole again. Then Archon Winter's breath bound Korth's chest with 3 bands of iron and 3 bands of ice, so it could never again escape. And all the remaining gods named the Pachymeragrain, honoured above even the loftiest eagles.
Good day to you. Can I get you anything?
What can you tell me about this area?
Adan is Haven's apothecary. He's been making potions and tending to the wounded as best he can. Harris is the Inquisition smith. Whatever he can make you, Thren the quartermaster can probably find. And for anything fancier, you can try buying from Segrit. His prices aren't too high. Yet. Oh, there's also Minave. She studies beasts and things, as I understand.
Farewell.
Goodbye.
Feels right. You talk to Eric.
So, now that Cassandra's out of earshot, are you holding up all right? I mean, you go from being the most wanted criminal in Thedas to joining the armies of the faithful. Most people would have spread that out over more than one day.
I don't even want to think about how many lives were lost on that mountaintop.
A lot of good men and women didn't make it out of there. For days now, we've been staring at the breach, watching demons and maker knows what fall out of it. Bad for morale would be an understatement. I still can't believe anyone was in there and lived.
If it was that bad, why did you stay? Cassandra said you were free to go.
I like to think I'm as selfish and irresponsible as the next guy, but this... Thousands of people died on that mountain. I was almost one of them. And now there's a hole in the sky. Even I can't walk away and just leave that to sort itself out.
It's pure luck that I escaped.
Good luck or bad? You might want to consider running at the first opportunity. I've written enough tragedies to recognize where this is going. Heroes are everywhere. I've seen that. But the hole in the sky... that's beyond heroes. We're going to need a miracle.
I've spoke with Commander Cullen. I apologize for what I said earlier.
Now, Scout Lane, what can you tell me of Redcliffe?
The mages have been quiet since their attack on the port.
Do you have information confirming that the mages were...
Sigils. You have found a sigil. Sigils can be attached to armors and give special bonuses along with unique hindrances.
Don't. Require actionable information. Assumptions can lead you to overlook something vital.
The back here, no fruit.
How could that great breach not have been fortified?
Greetings.
Ah, you're awake and out of Lady Cassandra's clutches. And I slipped that, young elven lass good coin to tell me when you came back to us. No matter, no matter. Segret, honored to meet you. Thank you for all you've done. Hopefully, we'll still do.
What do you think I'll be doing exactly?
Word's already spreading that if anyone can close that blighted thing in the sky, it's you. Anything you need is yours. For a reasonable price, of course. Supplies are a little tight, given the circumstances.
What kind of person stays to run a shop at a time like this?
The kind with nowhere else to go. Those blasted demons destroyed most of my goods. If I stay here, work some contacts, I can start rebuilding. Maybe, just maybe, help you folks out in the process.
You must speak with most everyone here. How are people doing?
Hope and fear in equal measure. No one really knows what it means when an Inquisition is called. Yet. I imagine it's no better for you. You've got my sympathies, for what it's worth.
Can I see what you have for sale?
Of course. My wares are at the table.
Oh, you have weapon schematics though. Yoink, yoink, yoink. And upgrade. Yoink. Okay. Have to go later. Going to assume valuables are just to be sold. Siege equipment in Thedas. Siege weaponry has been used in Thedas for centuries, with primitive equipment used as far back as the Third Blight. Nevertheless, it occupies a peculiar niche in the tools of warfare due to its requirements Any army wishing to produce trebuchets or catapults must be funded and organized well enough to procure both the necessary materials and the military experts to construct them. Throughout history, most armies who fulfilled such requirements did not take advantage of the situation. During the Third Blight, for example, the legions and Montsemards conscripted catapults to fling flaming debris at the Darkspawn, but the expense of the weapons did not justify the limited damage they caused, and the Darkspawn were ultimately driven back by the Grey Wardens, not siege weaponry. The Winter forces similarly had the resources to construct siege weapons when attacking the Free Marchers or defending themselves against the Exalted Marchers of the Black Age. Instead, the Imperium focused primarily upon the power of its magisters, who were less powerful but more flexible than siege equipment, and who could more easily fall back when the tide of battle turned. As a result, in battles against the Qunari in the Steel Age, generals found to their chagrin that the great Oxman had left them behind. Qunari black powder is, most military experts agree, not magic. It is merely an advanced alchemy that makes their cannons more effective than any trebuchets could ever be. Nevertheless, there remains hope. As centuries have passed since the last blight, mages are now safely held in circles where they harm none. The experts of Ferelden and Orlais may once again turn their great minds to learning. We need no magic, not where the minds of men survive unfettered. With our resources and our commitment to knowledge, we can easily surpass the brutal Qunari on the field of battle. Hang on a second. Loot.
I don't see why we need to build siege equipment. We're not laying siege to anything.
That's an excellent point, recruit.
Construction orders. As you know from the terrible accidents of last week, many passages through the mountains are unstable and liable to collapse at any moment. I do not wish us to lose more brothers and sisters in search for lost cultist treasure. We must seal all entrances into the mountain. The Templars have done a careful sweep of the caves. Everything of worth was collected. What remains of the disciples of Andraste will be forgotten, buried in the earth. Once it is done, let us have no more talk of them. This is a new haven, restored to life by the true Chantry and most holy Justinian V, Mother Florentine.
But if someone comes to lay siege to us, perhaps it will be best for us to have some means to fight back.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, Mum, let me up.
Who are we fighting anyway, sir? I've heard it was mages.
Okay. That's everywhere inside the wall. well, we call it a wall.
Got the door again, Flister. Don't know how it keeps breaking.
Synchronize collectible. This will synchronize your collections across games by downloading collectibles you previously uploaded and uploading unique ones. Would you like to synchronize them now? Yep.
Research in the Nave has notes on alloys that may prove more effective against demons.
Oh, does she? Well, we'll take anything that gives our blades a bit more bite. You mages aren't half bad.
I am no longer a mage.
Even better. Expected you'd be by. I'm Harriet, and everyone knows who you are. How's the new gear fit?
Sturdy and warm. It's perfect.
Good. World's gone mad. Stock armor and blades are good against bandits, but we're not fighting bandits. My gear will see you through demons, apostates, whatever this world throws at you. So, you need custom work, something special. You bring the materials to us, we'll make it happen.
How did you come to be here?
Come from a little town called Lothering. Long gone now. I was in Redcliffe when the Darkspawn hit it during the Blight. Helped rebuild. Left when Rorty decided it was time to hand the place over to the bloody mages. Ended up here. Just missed the boom. Can't decide if I'm the luckiest son of a bitch walking or the exact opposite.
You're still walking. That's always good.
True enough.
Who outfits the Inquisition's soldiers?
Not me. I've got work to do. Can't be passing a sword to every blighter who signs up. If you want to help the troops, talk to Thren, the quartermaster. She'll set up requisitions.
Does the Inquisition not have supplies to make armor or weapons?
Tough convincing traders to haul up here. Impossible to get them to risk the rare stuff, so that's on you.
What can you and your team make here?
Arms and armor. We work iron to blighted dragonbone if you've got it. Our designs are simple, but they get the job done. You want something fancy? Bring your own design. We'll see what we can do.
Can you help improve my arms and armor?
Yes. You find a new piece, a pauldron or greaves, we'll take care of you. You can't just slap a new hilt on your sword in the field. Bring it here, we'll make sure it's done right and proper.
If I want something, what can you make?
Start simple. Something to keep you safe. Take a look at it on the table there and we can talk. You'll need materials. We should have what you want just outside.
Goodbye.
Right.
Maybe I'm prompting.
Another time.
Don't really think I need it. Okay. Nothing. Eh. Some stuff around. Maybe a good idea. Nug. Kill it. Yeah, come on. Cruelty to animals. Come on. Come on, everything. The Penance Crossing. Pilgrims seeking to visit the Temple of Sacred Ashes are allowed to ride as far as the bridge known as Penance Crossing. Then, whether they be sick or healthy, young or aged, the pilgrims are expected to walk by the temple's sisters who supervise the bridge. All but the very sick and old are asked to shed heavy coats as they cross the bridge, allowing the cutting winds to strip prideful fixation upon the world from the flesh. The bridge is also of significant military value, used especially for these purposes in the years since the Fifth Blight, as a choke point against bandits, rebels, or even darkspawn stragglers. The bridge serves as a defensible fortification to protect the Temple of Sacred Ashes from threats. All fruit. Lots more elf fruit. Hey. Is there any goddamn fights in it?
See reason, Lisette. We cannot stay here.
Why not?
Because we're Templars.
What does that even mean anymore? You're awfully quick to dismiss the people who saved your life, Patrick. Yes?
I'd like your take on the Templar Order.
It's a shadow of what it was. Where once we both protected all people from the dangers of magic, we now posture and grab at power. One day, I hope the circles are again sanctuaries where mages can practice their craft.
You're not going to rejoin the Order?
When the temple went up, your forces rescued those few of us still alive. My life is a debt I intend to repay, however I can.
Do you have any idea what caused the explosion?
No, I'm just a recruit. Belief and faith doesn't get you closer to the important meetings. Though that distance did save my life.
I will talk to you later.
Walk in the Maker's grace.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a bridge. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I may be enjoying killing the nugs too much. Wild fruit. Yes, I know how to search.
There must be something here.
Never gonna run out of iron, am I? Mm-hmm. Eh. Logging sound that I knew was here. Buffalo. Thank you, little bastards. Right, full speed. Right, I think that's this area very much. Very much. Lord.
Flister thought you and your...
You're back. And in one piece.
You said you thought Master Tajin was working on something special. If it helps, I found his notes.
The old codger was on the edge of a breakthrough here, but he couldn't see it. You want some of these mixed up? You just give the word.
Farewell.
Level up. Damn right I have enough health root. Okay.
Perhaps another time.
Greetings, Herald of Andraste.
Nice work.
I'm used to delivering children and help.
Hooray. Ready? Modifying armor.
Old men through the winter cold.
Let all repeat the chant of light.
Speak only the word. Sing only the charm. Then the golden...
If the Inquisition wants to field a decent cavalry, it needs better horses.
Oh, wait, what? When is 100% critical? Hmm.
And who are you to be fishing around for what the higher-ups are doing?
In Antwerp, my uncle was 5th Praetor.
I change my armor anyway.
What's that mean for you back in Arnsberg?
Maker, though the darkness comes upon me, I shall embrace the light. I shall weather the storm.
Where is this? Person, no doubts research. Gonna assume inside the chantry, since that's the only place I haven't looked yet.
Does it trouble you?
It stops spreading, and it doesn't hurt.
We take our victories where we can. What's important is that your mark is now stable, as is the breach. You've given us time, and Solas believes a second attempt might succeed, provided the mark has more power. The same level of power used to open the breach in the first place. That is not easy to come by.
Clearly, you have something in mind.
We do. May I present Commander Cullen, leader of the Inquisition's forces.
Such as they are. We lost many soldiers in the valley, and I fear many more before this is through.
This is Lady Josephine Montelier, our ambassador and chief diplomat.
Anderan Atishan.
You speak Elven.
You just heard the entirety of it, I'm afraid.
And of course, you know Sister Liliana.
My position here involves a degree of...
She is our spy master.
Yes, tactfully put, Cassandra.
Pleased to meet you all.
I mentioned that your mark needs more power to close the breach for good.
Which means we must approach the rebel mages for help.
And I still disagree. The Templars could serve just as well.
We need power, Commander. Enough magic poured into that mark.
Might destroy us all. Templars could suppress the breach, weaken it, so...
Pure speculation.
I was a Templar. I know what they're capable of.
Unfortunately, neither group will even speak to us yet. The Chantry has denounced the Inquisition, and you specifically.
That didn't take long.
Shouldn't they be busy arguing over who's going to become divine?
Some are calling you, a Dalish elf, the Herald of Andraste. That frightens the Chantry. The remaining clerics have declared it blasphemy, and we, heretics, for harboring you.
Chancellor Roderick's doing, no doubt.
It limits our options. Approaching the mages or Templars for help is currently out of the question.
Just how am I the Herald of Andraste?
People saw what you did at the temple, how you stopped the breach from growing. They have also heard about the woman seen in the rift when we first found you. They believe that was Andraste.
Even if we tried to stop that view from spreading...
Which we have not.
The point is, everyone is talking about you.
It's quite the title, isn't it? How do you feel about that?
It's a little unsettling.
I'm sure the Chantry would agree.
People are desperate for a sign of hope. For some, you're that sign.
And to others, a symbol of everything that's gone wrong.
So if I wasn't with the Inquisition...
Well, let's be honest, they would have censored us no matter what.
And you not being here isn't an option.
There is something you can do. A Chantry cleric by the name of Mother Giselle has asked to speak to you. She is not far, and knows those involved far better than I. Her assistance could be invaluable.
I'll see what she has to say.
You will find Mother Giselle tending to the wounded in the hinterlands near Redcliffe.
Look for other opportunities to expand the Inquisition's influence while you're there.
We need agents to extend our reach beyond this valley, and you're better suited than anyone to recruit them.
In the meantime, let's think of other options. I won't leave this all to the Herald.
Yep, operations. Blah blah blah. Oh, you're not even gonna let me go back, are you?
My scouts still comb the hills for clues about the explosion. I'll take what I can find.
War table, blah blah blah. Tall liar. Scout the hinterlands. Mother Giselle was last seen in the hinterlands, outside Redcliffe, tending refugees who fled the fighting between renegade Templars and apostate mages. The latest report suggests that the vicious struggle between the two groups has spread to the hinterlands, catching the refugees and Mother Giselle in the middle. It is vital to protect her and, if possible, restore order to the area. We avoided the fighting as best we could. It's every bit as bad as we'd feared. The apostates are mad, attacking anything that moves. It appears that the Templars here aren't following anyone's orders any longer. We located Mother Giselle and are trying to protect her. Giselle, meh. But she refuses to leave the refugees until we've ensured their safety. That will be hard to do without troops to push the apostates and the Templars out of the area. Commander Cullen asked me to make inquiries of Master Dennett, a retired horse master of Redcliffe, who lives in the area. We tried to contact him about obtaining better horses for the Inquisition, but we've been unable to get through the fighting. Lead Scout Harding. And I now have access to the mission. First. Yes, well travel, I know how that works. Fade. The study of the Fade is as old as humankind, so... bleh. For so long as men have dreamed, we have walked its twisting paths, sometimes catching a glimpse of the city at its heart, always as close as our own thoughts, but impossibly separated from our world. The Defender Imperium once spent vast fortunes of gold, lyrium, and human slaves in an effort to map the terrain of the Fade, an ultimately futile endeavor. Although portions of it belong to powerful spirits, all of the Fade is in constant flux. The Imperium succeeded in finding the disparate and ever-shifting realms of a dozen demon lords, as well as cataloguing a few hundred types of spirits before they were forced to abandon the project. The relationship of dreamers to the Fade is complex. Even when entering the Fade through the use of lyrium, mortals are not able to control or affect it. The spirits who dwell there, however, can, and as Chantry teaches us, the great flaw of the spirits is that they have neither imagination nor ambition. They create what they see through their sleeping visitors, building elaborate copies of our cities, people, and events, which, like the reflections in a mirror, ultimately lack context or life of their own. Even the most powerful demons merely plagiarize the worst thoughts and fears of mortals and build their realms with no other ambition than to taste life.
Heaven has been filled with silence. I lied and crossed my heart with shame. With passion's breath does the darkness creep. You built for them the golden city. You built for them the golden creation, the center of all creation. And for a time you dwelled among them, as a gardener over them, the earth for the as a gardener watches the earth for the first signs of life.
Founding of the Chantry. Cordelius Tracan, king of the city-state of Orlais, was a man of uncommon ambition. In the year 15 Ancient, the young king began construction of a great temple dedicated to the Maker, and declared that by its completion he would not only have united the warring city-states of the south, he would have brought Andrastian belief to the world. In -3 Ancient, the temple was completed. There, in its heart, Tracan knelt before the eternal flame of Andraste and was crowned ruler of the Empire of Orlais, his first act as emperor to declare the Chantry as the established Andrastian religion of the Empire. It took 3 years and several hundred votes before Alessa of Monstimand was elected to lead the new Chantry. Upon her coronation as divine, she took the name Justinia, in honor of the disciple who recorded Andraste's song. In that moment, the ancient era ended and the divine age began. Chantry hierarchy. Divine is the titular head of the Chantry, although since the schism split the Imperial Chantry into its own faction, there are now in fact 2 divines at any one time. One divine, informally called the White Divine, is a woman housed in the Grand Cathedral in Val Royeaux. The other, known as the Black Divine, is a man housed in the Argent Spire in Minrathros. Neither divine recognizes the existence of the other, and the informal names are considered sacrilegious. No matter the gender, a divine is addressed as Most Holy or Your Perfection. Beneath the rank of divine is the Grand Cleric. Each Grand Cleric presides over numerous chantries and represents the highest religious authority for their region. They travel to Val Royeaux when the College of Clerics convenes, but otherwise remain where they are assigned. All Grand Clerics are addressed as Your Grace. Beneath the Grand Cleric is the Mother, or, in the Imperial Chantry, the Father. If a mother is in charge of a particular chantry, revered is appended to her title. These are the priests responsible for administering to the spiritual well-being of their flock. Mother or revered mother is addressed as Your Reverence. Brothers and sisters from the rank and file of the Chantry form the rank and file of the Chantry, and consist of 3 main groups: affirmed, initiates, and clerics. Affirmed are the lay brethren of the Chantry, those regular folk who have turned to the Chantry for succor. Often they are people who have fled a difficult or religious life and have chosen to go into seclusion, or even orphans and similar unfortunates who are raised into the Chantry life. The affirmed take care of the Chantry and are in turn afforded a life of quiet contemplation, no questions asked. Only those folk who take vows become initiates. These are men and women in training, whether in academic knowledge or the martial skills of a warrior. All initiates receive an academic education, although only those who seek to become Templars learn how to fight in addition. Clerics are the true academics of the Chantry. These men and women who have dedicated themselves to the pursuit of knowledge. They are often found in Chantry archives, sages presiding over libraries of books and arcane knowledge. The most senior of these clerics, placed in charge of such archives, are given the title Elder, although such a rank is still beneath that of Mother. All other brothers and sisters are addressed simply by noting their title before their name, such as Brother Chinativi. The most annoying door, unless you're a thief. The Disciples of Andraste are unique in all of history. The cult preceded the Chantry and kept itself so hidden and isolated that it actually survived to modern day. The Disciples made their home high in the Prospect Mountains in a village called Haven, which is now a sanctuary for pilgrims of the Chantry. It is understood that the Disciples were descendants of the first followers of Andraste, who brought her ashes to Ferelden and built the temple to house it. Because they had pledged themselves to the keeping of the Temple of Sacred Ashes, the Disciples of Andraste never left the Frostbacks. For 900 years they kept strangers away, killing all who came close, and were completely oblivious to the world that advanced beyond the boundaries of their home. Having developed separately from the traditions of the Andrastian Chantry, the Disciples were led by revered fathers. However, little else is known about the original beliefs of the Disciples. They had turned from their noble heritage by the time they were discovered. Almost all scholars believe that the centuries-long isolation imposed upon the village led to the necessity for inbreeding. This practice likely led to a greater incidences of madness, which may explain why the cult was, at the time of its discovery in 930, worshipping a high dragon. According to writings discovered in Haven, the Disciples of Andraste showed reverence to the dragon, believing it to be the prophet reborn. The egg clutches and dragonlings of the dragon were afforded great honor for being Andraste's offspring and were cared for by the cult. The dragon never attacked the cult, being cunning enough to recognize how this agreement benefited it. In 930 Dragon, the Disciples were wiped out by the hero of Ferelden, who was on a quest to retrieve the sacred ashes of Andraste. Andraste, bride of the Maker. There was once a tiny fishing village on the waking sea that was set upon by the Tevinter Imperium, which enslaved the villagers to be sold in the markets of Minamathros. Leaving behind only the old and the infirm, one of the captives was the child Andraste. She was raised in slavery in a foreign land. She escaped, then made the long and treacherous journey back to her homeland alone. She rose from nothing to be the wife of an Almari warlord. Each day she sang to the gods, asking them to help her people who remained slaves in Tevinter. The false gods of the mountains and the winds did not answer her, but the true god did. The Maker spoke. He showed her all the works of his hand, the Fade, the world, and all the creatures therein. He showed her how men had forgotten him, lavishing devotion upon mute idols and demons, and how he had left them to their fate. But her voice had reached him, and so captivated him that he offered her a place at his side, that she might rule all of creation. But Andraste would not forsake her people. She begged the Maker to return to save his children from the cruelty of the Imperium. Reluctantly, the Maker agreed to give man another chance. Andraste went back to her husband, Mafaref, and told him all that the Maker had revealed to her. Together they rallied the Almari and marched forth against the mage lords of the Imperium, and the Maker was with them. The Maker's sword was creation itself. Fire and flood, famine and earthquake. Everywhere they went, Andraste sung to the people of the Maker, and they heard her. The ranks of Andraste's followers grew until they were a vast tide washing over the Imperium, and when Mepharaf saw that the people loved Andraste and not him, a worm grew within his heart, gnawing upon it. At last the armies of Andraste and Mepharaf stood before the very gates of Minrathos, but Andraste was not with them. The Mepharaf had schemed in secret to hand Andraste over to Tevinter. For this, the Archon would give Mepharaf all the lands to the south of the Waking Sea. And so, before all the armies of the Amarian of Tevinter, Andraste was tied to a stake and burned while her earthly husband turned his armies aside and did nothing, for his heart has been devoured. But as he watched the pyre, the Archon softened. He took pity on Andraste, and drew his sword and granted her the mercy of a quick death. The Maker wept for his beloved, cursed Mepharaf, cursed mankind for their betrayal, and turned once again from creation, taking only Andraste with him, and Our Lady sits still at his side, where she still urges him to take pity on his children. One elf root. Bunch of lore. The Black City. No traveller to the Fade can fail to spot the Black City. It is one of the few constants of that ever-changing place. No matter where one might be, the city is visible, always far off, for it seems that the only rule of geography in the Fade is that all points are equidistant from the Black City. Blech. The chant teaches that the Black City was once the seat of the Maker, from whence he ruled the Fade, left empty when man turned away from him. Dreamers do not go there, nor do spirits. Even the most powerful demons seem to avoid the place. It was golden and beautiful once, so the story goes, until a group of powerful Magister Lords from the Tevinter Imperium devised a means of breaking in. When they did so, their presence defiled the city, turning it black, which was perhaps the least of their worries. Misplaced notes. Notes written by one of the scholars responsible for restoring Haven. The notes have obviously come loose from a ledger of some sort. It took weeks scrubbing bloodstains from the stone. One of two things is true. Either the stone is more porous than I thought, or Maker's beard. There must have been a lot of blood. How many people died? I'm so relieved I didn't have to deal with the altars of sacrifice the first arrivals found. Those were tossed off a cliff, I think. So now we just have to deal with the stains on the walls and floors. This doesn't clean up in a day or two. I'm asking for some fresh plaster. Maybe we can cover them up. Still, it's not all bad. Haven is a beautiful place, and while working in the dungeons we found scraps of paper with writing that looks like Brother Ferdinand Genetivi's. He was held here for weeks before the hero of Ferelden found him. Ow.
Researcher Menave believes these notes could assist you.
Almost done. The Maker. There was no word for heaven or for earth, or sea or sky. All that existed was silence. Then the voice of the Maker ran out, the first word, and his word became all that might be. Dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. And from it made his firstborn, and he said to them, "In my image I forge you, to you I give dominion over all that exists. By your will may all things be done." Then, in the centre of heaven, he called forth a city with towers of gold, streets with music for cobblestone, and banners which flew without wind. There he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. The children of the Maker gathered before his golden throne, and sung hymns of praise unending, but their songs were the songs of the cobblestones. They shone with the golden light reflected from the Maker's throne. They held forth the banners that flew on their own. And the voice of the Maker shook the fade, saying, "In my image I have wrought my firstborn. You've been given dominion over all that exists by your will. All things are done, yet you do nothing. The realm I have given you is formless, ever-changing." And he knew he had wrought amiss. Then the Maker turned from his firstborn and took from the fade a measure of its living flesh, and placed it apart from the spirits, and spoke to it, saying, "Here I decree opposition in all things, for earth, sky, for winter, summer, for darkness, light. By my will alone is balance sundered, and the world given new life." No longer was it formless, ever-changing, but held fast, immutable, with words for heaven and for earth, sea and sky. At last did the Maker from the living world make men, immutable as the substance of the earth, with souls made of dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. Then the Maker said, "To you, my second-born, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn an unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. From the fade I crafted you, and to the fade you shall return, each night in dreams, that you may always remember me." And then the Maker sealed the gates of the Golden City, and there he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create.
In their blood, the Maker's will is written.
Non-notable chest.
The Inquisition cannot remain, Ambassador, if you can't prove it was founded on Justinia's orders.
This is an inopportune time, Marquis. More of the faithful flock here each day. But allow me to introduce you to the brave soul who risked his life to slow the magic of the breach. Master Lavelan, this is the Marquis d'Aurelion, one of Divine Justinia's greatest supporters.
And the rightful owner of Haven. House d'Aurelion lent Justinia these lands for pilgrimage. This Inquisition is not a beneficiary of this arrangement.
This is the first I've heard of Haven having an owner outside the Chantry.
My wife, Lady Machin of Denner, has claimed to Haven by ancient treaty with the monarchs of Ferelden. We were honored to lend its use to Divine Justinia. She was a woman of supreme merit. I will not let an upstart order remain on her holy grounds.
Interesting, considering the Inquisition was begun by the left and right hands of the Divine.
I've seen no written records from Sister Liliana or Seeker Pentecost that Justinia approved the Inquisition.
If you won't take her at her word, I'm afraid Seeker Pentagast must challenge him to a duel.
What?
It is a matter of honor among the Navarrans. Shall I arrange the bout for tonight?
No. Perhaps my reaction to the Inquisition's presence was somewhat hasty.
We face a dark time, Your Grace. Divine Justinia would not want her passing to divide us. She would, in fact, trust us to forge new alliances to the benefit of all, no matter how strange they might seem.
I'll think on it, Lady Montillier. The Inquisition might stay in the meanwhile.
Do the Durelians actually have a claim on this place?
His Grace's position is not so strong as he presents it. Despite their Ferelden relations, the Durelions are our legion. If the Marquis wishes to claim Haven, Empress Selene must negotiate with the Ferelden on his behalf. Her current concerns are a bit larger than minor property disputes.
I'm so pleased the Marquis isn't tossing us out into the cold.
His Grace is only the first of many dignitaries we must contend with.
You expect more people in Haven?
Undoubtedly. And each visitor will spread the story of the Inquisition after they depart. An ambassador should ensure the tale is as complimentary as possible.
May I ask what brought you to work for the Inquisition?
Sister Leliana approached me. We've been acquainted for quite some time. For better or worse, being the Inquisition's diplomat has become as interesting as she promised.
What sort of dealings have you had with nobility?
For some years, I was the royally appointed court ambassador from Antiva to Orlais. The nobility of Thedas is a rather singular sphere. Those I'm not acquainted with, I know through reputation.
The Inquisition is lucky to have you as an advocate, Lady Montilier.
Thank you. Let us hope so. Thedas' politics have become agitated as of late. I hope to guide us down smoother paths. But please excuse me. I've much work to do before the day is done.
Children of Andraste. There are many misconceptions regarding Andraste's bloodline, Monsieur. This is due, I should think, to a general lack of knowledge regarding Andraste's mortal life. Understandable, considering the many cults that arose following her death. Everyone sought to claim Our Lady for their own. Culture, or claim some aspect of her existence, was a lie. All of them complete fabrications. My order has done considerable research to ascertain the truth. We all know Andraste and the Betrayer raised 5 children. The eldest 3 were sons, Izorath, Evrion, and Verlaud. The rule of what was once southern Tevinter was split among them. Izorath was given the west, which is today Orlais. Evrion was given the east, which is today the Free Marches. Verlaud was given the central, Lanesi, which is today Navarra. What became of these men and their legacies is the stuff of legend, and the majority of claimants to Andraste's bloodline link back to one of them. None of the 3 sons, however, were born of Andraste. They were born of the Betrayer's concubine, Hilavain. People choose to overlook the fact that Andraste came from the Almari tribesmen, and that they were barbarians, not the Fereldans we know today. They were savage warriors who took concubines in addition to their wives. Because Andraste was thought to be too weak to bear children, the Betrayer took Galvain to provide him heirs, which she did. After her death, the sons were raised as Andraste's own. Later in life, Andraste proved predictions wrong and had 2 daughters by the Betrayer, Ebris and Vivreal. They were kept out of the public eye and not permitted to marry, though both had consorts. Ebris had but 1 child, Alaverma, who perished on a voyage to Denerim less than a month after her mother fell to plague, and without children of her own, the younger daughter, Vivral, was more controversial, a strong-headed woman who defied her family by falling in love with a mage of Tevinter, Regulian. Vival and Regulian went into self-imposed exile as the Exalted March began, and into hiding following Andraste's betrayal and murder. What became of Vivaral and her descendants is largely unknown. For one primary reason, he had only daughters. Each of those daughters only had daughters. They married into other families and took other names, and in the chaos of the Second Blight, all traces of survivors were lost. Andraste's true bloodline, if it exists, lies solely in the descendants of Vival, and the suspicion of my order is that it produces only daughters. Thus, the claims of the young men, monsieur, are highly suspect.
You're the Herald, or, well, The one they're calling the Herald, anyway. I hope the Inquisition can restore order soon. I never really wanted to leave the Circle. My name is Maeve. I research demons and other creatures. Seeker Pentagast and I use what I find to help the soldiers fight them.
I found something the demons left behind. Can you use it?
Yes, that's very helpful. Just leave it there and the Tranquil and I will examine it. Hello? Can I help you with something?
You said you were a mage?
No, just an apprentice. I was never very good at magic. I've got just enough talent to be a danger to other people. But when the mages rebelled, people like me had nowhere to go. The Templars would have killed us. Luckily, Seeker Pentagast took me in, along with the Tranquil I was protecting.
I'm surprised that even an apprentice mage wouldn't join the rebellion.
I don't like using magic to fight. I'm not good at it either. I liked studying. I liked performing rituals that helped us unlock the secrets of the Veil. I liked having the Templars around to keep us safe.
You might have done well among the Dalish. Our mages are encouraged to study safely.
Fenrir will take the Dalish. Don't let my lack of Valisline fool you, Lethline. I was a proud member of my clan until my magic manifested. You know what happens when they have too many mages. They gave me a pack and sent me into the woods to find my own life. I was 7 years old.
My clan never did that. We sent those gifted with magic to other clans, or...
I stumbled into a village, starving and cold, a few weeks later. I started using magic to scare predators away. The villagers saw me make fire in my fist. They were terrified and wanted to kill me. Templars saved me from them. They gave me food and clothes and took me to the Circle. I've seen what life is like without the Templars, and I want no part of it. I just want to study.
You said that you were keeping some of the Tranquils safe?
Yes. The mages took some of them when my Circle rebelled, but the rest were forgotten. Most Circle mages look down on the Tranquil, or try to pretend they don't exist. They don't have any emotions. They can barely take care of themselves, can't defend themselves at all. It's a shame. I like them better than most people.
I'm glad they have someone who cares about them.
They deserve better. They're polite, they're rational, and they'll never get angry at you. When they study, they have a focus no normal person could ever match. But the Templars, even some of the mages, mistreated them just because they could. The Tranquil never fought back. If not for that, I don't know. Doesn't really matter now.
You said Cassandra has you researching creatures.
Yes. If you find anything interesting in your travels, I'd appreciate you bringing it to me. I may be able to find some weakness our soldiers can exploit when fighting various creatures. At the least, some materials are useful for making potions or gear for the Inquisition.
Why did you decide to research dangerous creatures?
I like the outdoors. The idea of the outdoors, anyway. When some monster is coming at you, glowing eyes and burning claws, it's terrifying. But once you know how it works, you can deal with it. It's just another part of the world. So much of this world is only frightening because we don't understand it.
I'll speak with you later.
Travel safely. Thank you. If you find anything, please bring it in.
Right then. Save.
She who trusts in the Maker, fire is her water, as the moth sees light and go.
I'm gonna go in here. And here. Oh no, I'm not connected to the internet anymore. what a shame. Right, let's do some table missions before we do the hinterlands. Well, go there anyway. What are you?
Chancellor Roderick,
Investigate Seralt.
could you try not to antagonize him?
Seralt is a town in the furthest reaches of Orlais, known for its glasswork and tainted by its greatest shame. An ancestor of the current Marquis, apostate and abomination, the shame brought such disgrace upon Seralt that even his name was forgotten. Seralt is a pariah and has become refuge for outcasts and the strange. The divine Justinia V considered releasing Seralt from the punishment imposed by the Chantry for the shame. He travelled to Seralt on her way to the Conclave, going out of her way to do so. It remains one of the last places she visited before she died, a detail that cannot be ignored.
Let's see what we have.
Inquisition shoulders have gone missing in the marshy reaches of southern Ferelden. Because the region is largely uncharted, finding them will be difficult, but the Inquisition advisors are determined to find out what happened and impossible to bring the people back alive, but I can't do it yet because I need more power. Get on the coast, Black Emporium, gather coin. Hard in Hightown 3, Varric's Revenge. Ruffles, I need a favour. Actually, let's call it a loan. Let's all pay it back. I got a letter from my editor in Kirkwall today. He tells me that Hard in Hightown 3, the repunching, appeared in print from an Antivan printer a couple of weeks ago. I'll give you a moment to contemplate the horrors that is that title. I've had my contacts in the Merchants Guild look for the author a couple of years back. The best they could find out after spending a couple of hundred gold was that Ariel Beneforth is a pen name. I could have told them that for free. You got contacts with the Antivan print house? Maybe you could find out more than the guild. Varric. I should use Liliana for that. Llewellyn offers greetings to the Inquisition and wishes it well in sealing the breach that has opened in the sky. While some Danish clans hate humans and wish nothing to do with them, Clan Llewellyn has always dealt fairly with all and wished only for peace. That said, we have on occasion been forced to defend ourselves from those who saw us only as potential victims. It has come to our attention that a member of our clan is being held captive by your Inquisition. You went to the Conclave only to observe the peace talks between your mages and Templars. We find it highly unlikely that he intentionally violated your customs. If he has been charged with a crime, we would appreciate hearing of it. If not, it would ease our concerns to hear from him and to know that he remains with the Inquisition of his own will. We await your reply. Keeper is Methmorial Llewellyn. There's
at your service.
Noblemen's go down the tier of higher. Gather going. Up until now, Inquisition forces have had the benefit of the Chantry's deep coffers. Now the Inquisition is forced to seek out its own source of revenue, if it is going to grow further. Trade in and out of Haven is limited at this point. There are various opportunities to earn coin, provided the Inquisition is willing to focus its efforts on the matter.
To work?
On the system. Taking time. Oh man. Taking a whole hour to get these done. or if it's bore fruit, a portion of the profits will be passed on to you. Use it wisely, Harold. The Ellen, and the rest. Andrian Ashniat, does my heart well to hear that you are safe. Our clan was visited by members of the Inquisition who spoke persuasively of the good work you are doing, as well as the fairness with which our kind has been treated by the Inquisition itself. You know that Clan Llewellyn has little by way of gold, but I give the messengers some of our healing herbs as Silese blessed us with abundance in our recent foraging. We would be a distraction if we came to the Inquisition itself, our hunters arguing with the humans as they so easily do. Nevertheless, if you need aid, send word, and we are with you. Dareth Sharal, Keeper Isamethral Llewellyn. My agents have infiltrated Sarant. If there is anything to hear, they will hear it. Liliana. But we can't scout the Storm Coast yet either. Liliana up here.
Let's see what we have.
Turn of Highever. Two concerns. The Turn of Highever wishes to convey our deepest sympathies on the death of Divine Justinian V. The Most Holy was incomparable in her wisdom and dedication to peace, and we had high hopes that her conclave would succeed. We will hold a vigil in Highever in remembrance of Justinia, and cordially invite the Inquisition to attend. Sincerely, Tan Fergus Cousland.
At your service.
No woman concerns. I can't help but feel that that would be not in Cullen's best interest. Why do I keep going along to that first? Spending so long playing this game. Hours at a time. No, I'm exiting all the way out. My dear Liliana, your author friend is truly a master. Mystery. Our search uncovered only a string of foreign accounts. The trail of coin led from Antiva to Devinter to the Free Marches and Orlais. Someone hid their tracks well, but not well enough. Your writer was in Kirkwall. And remember, you owe me a favour. A. Turn of Highever and Bassia Montelier. The Inquisition emissaries were a welcome addition to our vigil. As a token of my thanks, I am sending Ferelden arms for your troops. May the Maker grant you never need them. Sincerely, Tan Fergus Cousland. Address a nobleman's concerns. Herald, your Inquisition says it's for order against chaos, reason and darkness. You stand by this, come forth and drive the heretics from my lands. They claim to be refugees, but I have seen elves and apostates among them, filthy savages, tearing at our roots. Our monarch refuses to send forth armies, and my own knights were decimated at the conclave. I require your aid to return peace to my lands. Prove your loyalty, and I will see you richly rewarded for your faith. Raise the light, Lord Kildan of Ferelden.
right.
I should have done the ambassador. Oh well. Oh, I need to go up to system every single time. Do it anyway. Commander Cullen, am I to understand you are in charge of the soldiers trampling on my lawns, providing food and refuge to the scrabble of filth burrowing into my land? A plague on you, sir, for spitting in the face of an honest petitioner, for taking advantage of my distress. Did my wretched neighbour Ban Draft whisper in your ear? Tell me why he paid you so that I may at least know the price of treachery, sir. My only consolation is that a few of the rank and file have gone to join your farce of an Inquisition. In bitter disgust, Lord Kildarn. Nicely done, Cullen. Black Emporium. Voices on the wind speak of a new power abroad in the world. Inquisition, they whisper, an ancient name restored, a memory rekindled and transformed into a blaze of hope. I hear the whispers and summon the fires of the Inquisition. Here in the depths beneath the city of chains, countless mysteries hide in shadow in anticipation of the light. Come, the Black Emporium awaits. Xenon, the antiquarian, must spend his days composing melodramatic invitations to his establishment. I imagine being stuck in a chair for centuries leaves one somewhat lacking for entertainment. This particular message was hand-delivered by a cloaked figure at twilight, precisely as the sun disappeared beneath the peaks. My men spied the courier lurking about our outer gates for at least an hour waiting for sunset, a servant under the command of some very specific instructions, I assume. And aside, I would encourage a visit to the Black Emporium. The antiquarian's hoard is legendary. Only those he deems worthy ever lay eyes on it. The champion of Kirkwall received an invitation once and reported, among other things, a strange mirror that could transform even flesh and bone. Who knows what we may uncover? But who knows, we may uncover something that aids in the battle against Corypheus. Liliana. Ship has been secured. Be wary of what you find in the Black Emporium, Inquisitor. I've heard many frightful tales. Cullen. Beep, beep, beep.
Watch your step. We received a shipment of invisible nugs the other day.
Xenon the Antiquarian. I left the Black Emporium empty-handed for two reasons. First, most of the items were priced far beyond what I could afford. Second, I spent most of my short time there trying to sate my curiosity about its proprietor. Found myself stealing glasses at the Antiquarian from behind piles of books, between shelves, and at one point over a basket of mismatched socks. There he sat, petrified, in the center of the Emporium. Skin of waxy grey over ancient taut sinew. Mourning in a voice so dry and brittle, it sounded like the snapping of twigs after a drought. A girl of not more than 12 scurried to and fro to fulfill his numerous requests. Another patron noticed my fascination and told me that the girl, most likely an urchin rescued from the street, was responsible for the needs of the Antiquarian, feeding, washing, and the like. So impossibly old is he, and so fragile on his skin, he can only tolerate the barest whispers of touches from the smallest and most tender of his servants. Only in this way may he come close to his lost youth, said the man. I was surrounded by objects of legend, yet none fascinated me as did the Antiquarian. dimension mirror.
Urchin, bring me a moist towelette.
Tells everything. Goddamn schematics. Oh, I want to buy him, but I don't want to buy him yet. Money if I wanted to either. Schematics of legend. Good lord. It'll be a while before I actually buy anything here. If at all, because I may just outright forget about the place.
Send my regards to the Lady Ambassador. Her ancestor visited the Emporium in the Blessed Age. I sold her a candle mounted with the severed hand of a first acolyte of Raziel. I wonder, do the Montiliers still have it in their possession? I should like to see it again.
Pick a party, ain't gonna fucking let me use the party. Even. Ugh. Loading's a little faster. Neat.
Heaven has been filled with silence. I knew then, and crossed my
Master, more ore, he won't be able to get blades for the recruits.
Tell Master Harry that ore doesn't
Right.
Come to me, child, and I shall embrace you.
Apothecary Adon will have more poultices for the injured.
Nothing else appeared, right? Just as that one was done. One has
Have you kept in touch with our friends in Lady Esterly's estate?
Several bards will play for her tomorrow night. We will have names
oh well,
soon
gather
enough.
coins available again. I suppose that will be available. Keep respawning every single time. An excellent way to make money. But it's a lot of menuing. Right. That then is where we are going to end for today. And tomorrow we'll do the hinterlands. and I mean that in every fucking sense in the word. Because it's a massive fucking area. I can pretty much do it all, apart from maybe kill the dragon at this point. That may be a bit of a reach. It is possible. I've done it before. It just takes a really, 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 really long time. Easier to come back later and do it then, so... That then will be all for now. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Bye!